I mean, obviously she's not going to sue China because China is strong and actually respects itself and cares about its economy. As such, China should be the only nation on earth which is allowed to build stuff and have an industry, while nations like Sweden get to cripple their energy sector, destroying jobs within their country, getting people to freeze in the winter, and in exchange, they can rely on children in Africa digging for the parts required to make electric batteries, which are then going to be shipped into China, a proper, decent nation, which is going to export that shit back to Sweden. Makes sense, right? What I love the most is that a group of children and young adults, including Greta. So every time you talk about Greta, you have to bring the child in. I always found it hilarious. It's like, what do you mean she's a child? Like, she was a teenager. Back when I was in high school, at her age, first of all, I was able to handle debate. Like, we actually learned how to debate in high school. And then again, I mean, she skipped it, so maybe that's why she couldn't do a single debate. And the second part was that when I was a teenager, like, someone calling you a child was an insult. Because when you are a teenager, you're trying to transition from childhood into adulthood. So you're actually trying to emulate how adults act. You're trying to gain more responsibilities, become more independent. Someone calling you a child would be very insulting. But again, obviously, you know, Greta Thunberg is not the brains of the operation. I haven't heard her speak a single time without a script in her hand. I haven't seen her do any debates, and we know where the money is coming from. There is an entire PR team and PR agencies that were supporting her. So, yeah, like, she's a figurehead, a mascot, if you will. But what is more interesting about this is the tactic that is constantly being used by progressives, which is to use children to further a message. Because you have to listen to the child as if it's capable of great wisdom. The egg steadily teaches the chicken. And this is true of revolutionary ideologies. In Maoist China, it also existed, right? Because the normal way of things, the natural order of things, is for the adults, especially the older generation, which have wisdom, have gone through life, understand things, they're the ones that are supposed to teach the child. But in a revolutionary context, in a Marxist, neo-Marxist way of viewing, is that the children are the enlightened ones. The children are smart, they're educated, but while the adults are dumb, they're idiots. And you can see it in this type of propaganda where the grandmother, like, she wants to keep the child rooted into superstition and idiocy, and she's taking the child to church. Meanwhile, the child, she wants to go to science, to study, to enlighten themselves. And right, like, this is the type of propaganda that existed since the USSR. And the whole purpose for it is that, first of all, children are a lot easier to manipulate. You can't make arguments if you do not understand the world yet. Like children cannot debunk Santa Claus because they do not understand physics. They do not know about time zones. They do not understand a lot of issues. Like, they still believe in magic because they haven't experienced the world properly. So that's why, like, children are very easy to influence and manipulate, especially if they are the children of rich parents. Then once they grow, they can use the money from their parents in order to do the activism. And this is like what the academics are talking about. Like, they flat out say that they want to use the children in order to subvert society and to, like, especially the children of rich adults. But anyway, right, that's neither here nor there. The more important reason is not that children are impressionable and you can get them to believe whatever the adults want. The more important thing is that if you have a child, when they talk, they spread wisdom, right? But when you start criticizing them, it's like people go like, what are you doing? Why are you criticizing a child? Like, is this standard that they're going for? So that they can... Because the way the modern activists work is that they want to be the only one speaking. They want to control the conversation. They want to be like a priest that is preaching a sermon. They don't want dialogue. They don't want people to talk and be against them and have a conversation and defend their arguments. No. So in order to do that, they use children. So you have like this cute child going around, oh, well, you should listen to them. They're so educated. They're so smart. And you're like, okay, well, let's have a debate. Well, how can you debate a child? Like, you're an adult. Why would you debate a child? They do the same with comedians, like the late night comedians were very famous for doing this. When they were talking, you are supposed to listen, like they're giving you wisdom. But when they would be criticized for the shit that they were saying, they would be like, oh, why are they criticizing me? I'm just a comedian. Trevor Noah is famous for this. After France won the World Cup, he made a very distasteful and racist joke saying that Africa won the World Cup. Now, the French embassy pressured him on this, and he said, like, look, like, none of these football players identify as any country of Africa. They are French nationals. They're proud to be French. None of them has proven that this is not the case. You're pushing the blood and soil ideology that the far right is pushing. To which Trevor Noah goes like, oh, I'm just a comedian. Why are you going after me? I'm just a comedian, bro. Right? Like, this is the tactic that is being used exactly here. And it's interesting that during the middle of an energy crisis, like, we're not talking about the time of plenty. No, we're talking like during the middle of a fucking energy crisis, when prices are high, you have the activists doing shit like this. I mean, if you try to pull this stuff in Eastern Europe, like, of course it's in your right to sue the government. Right? Like, no one is questioning that you don't have this right. But like, it's the same thing that the left says. Like, you have the right of free speech, but that doesn't mean freedom from consequences. If you behave like this here in Romania, it would be exactly the same like if you made a racist joke in public. Like, no, actually, even worse. It would be exactly the same as if you were racist in public. Like, that's how people would treat you and your family. Preferably your parents, because they would be like, it's not her fault, it's the parents, right? So if here in Romania, when the gas prices are high, if you were to sue the government for climate bullshit, people would treat you the exact same way as if you were to say the N-word on Twitter. And they would know who you are, right? Like, this is the exact same thing. But for example, in Sweden, things are different. I mean, okay, you know, it's going to be interesting. I'm curious if they're going to win or not. This is the consequence of voting for these types of parties that want to impoverish people. Right? I mean, she's not suing China. China is still going to pollute. It's just that Sweden is going to be a weaker nation after it ends up destroying its energy sector. So let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care. Oh, and I almost forgot. I need to shill for myself. See, this is why I don't do sponsorships. I forget to shill even for myself. There is a link into the pinned comment if you scroll down. Hopefully I remember to upload it. That's another thing. I forget to upload my own shilling. I suck at this. Seriously. And if you click on it, it will take you to my subscribe star, where if you're so inclined, you can give $8 so you can get V-Blue. I'm copying Elon Musk. No, but in all due honesty, like, no matter how much you tip me, that's great. If you support this channel, I will appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.